Hello and welcome to this week's edition of HK Direct. Here's what's coming up on the show. We talk to Hong Kong stalwart trainer Richard Gibson. He's been here a few years now and he's coming in to speak to us about how things have gone this season, a bit about his past as well, and what we're looking forward to in the future too. So it should be a really good show. Delighted to say that Richard has joined me. Many thanks for coming along, Richard.
Thanks for having me along, John.
And it's been a pretty good season for you, really. Things have been ticking along nicely.
Yeah, we've had a good season and we've been nice and consistent throughout the year.
Yeah, sort of anecdotally, sitting there next to the paddock like I do most Sunday afternoons, there seems to be a sort of steady stream of winners sort of once every couple of weeks or so.
Yeah, we're lacking the superstars, but we've had a very, very solid base all the way up from Class 5 up to the decent stuff.
Well, to that end, we can take a look at your stats this season and compare them with last season. You've had fewer runners, actually, this time round, but certainly in terms of percentage-wise, things have definitely picked up from last year.
Yeah, you know, a lot of the string have really performed. You know, I think we'd have about 95% of the horses have gone up in rating. Yeah. And right from the bottom, we've had some nice Class 5 horses all the way up to a couple of Class 2s. Yeah,
OK. And I suppose there have been one or two, the likes of Literature, he's been performing very well, and consistency from the likes of him, yeah?
Yeah, we've probably got a few more Happy Valley horses this year. Literator's done very well. And a young horse called Hero Time won his 2 races there. Nice horse who's still in the up.
Now, a couple of those horses that we're going to touch on here. One of them is, technically speaking, from a handicapping perspective, your stable star this season. Wishful Thinker, a horse who has done very well so far for you. Just the 5 runs, a couple of victories. He seems to specialise in coming from the back in his races. He's gone pretty well this season for you. And this was a good run chasing down Hot King Prawn, who's a very progressive type last time out.
Yeah, you know, we've been really pleased with this recruit. He raced quite a lot in Australia, actually, and they messed around a little bit on distance, and I think he's always been a horse that's been better ridden cold. Yeah. And this race is impressive because, as you know, John Sizer's young horse there in front's unbeaten in Hong Kong, so to catch him on the line was good performance.
Yeah, it certainly was. And even the races he's lost, he seems to be a little bit unlucky. He's had 1 or 2 traffic problems, hasn't he? So he definitely looks very promising.
Yeah, well, his races have been very good, and there he got some space, and that's really what he needs. And he needs to find space, and Karras kept us cool, and it was impressive.
And how far do you think you can go with him in the long term?
Well, you know, they slammed him 10 points for it, so it's very rare for one of my horses to go up 10. So, you know, he's got to face a challenge on the next run because 10 points is a big penalty in Hong Kong.
And another sort of favourite of mine anyway, a horse who did very well at the start of the season, Rattan. He managed to knock up some victories. Here he is coming with a withering late run in November, and then, of course, he went to the 4-year-old series.
Rattan was impressive at the beginning of the year. He's a PPG that's come really nicely through the ranks. He's a winner of 4 or 5, isn't he?
Yes.
And he was very impressive in the spring, and I never really got that excited about his Derby credentials because I didn't really put him at that standard. Yeah. I think we were stretching him a little bit too much in distance. But we'll freshen him up afterwards, and it'll be interesting to see how he goes. He's got a couple of races before the back end. Right,
so you've got 1 or 2 little plans for him sorted out.
He tried very well the other day.
He did, yes. And so what kind of prospects do you think he'd have going forward next season as well?
Well, you know, to be top class, he's got to improve again. He's still a young horse. He's still 4. He's by a Zavabil, some late maturing type. So, you know, we've still got a bit of margin to go on him. Yeah, OK. Certainly he's one to look forward to. Now, most people watching the show will be relatively sort of aware of your backstory as a trainer going back quite a few years now. But you sort of took the plunge, didn't you? You decided to leave the delights of rural northern England behind and went all the way to France to start your training career. Just tell us about that. Yeah, well, it's good that you and I are from the same hometown in Hexham, John, and that's always good. But yeah, I flew the French flag at a very young age. I went out to France as a young guy, and things worked out well for me there. So, you know, I stayed there for my career, and I ended up perhaps even 19 years there, so it was a long time. We had many good years in Chantilly training. Yeah. And it was good to take up a new challenge, and we've now finished season 6 in Hong Kong. Yeah, and of course the horse that really put you on the map here in Hong Kong was when you were still training in France, Dr. Dino, 2-time winner of the Vase. You must have very fond memories of him. Yeah, and he's actually doing okay as a stallion. He had a filly that was 2nd in the Oaks the other day, and I know he's popular on the jump, so it's it's great that he's still waving his flag. And he sort of launched your career here, didn't he? Because in 2011-12 you got the contract to come and train here, and then very shortly after that, Akid Mufid. Yeah, Dr. Dino of his time was the most travelled thoroughbred of his sort of generation. You know, we did the circuit of Singapore, Dubai, America, and you know, we're very lucky to have such a consistent horse. And yeah, we sort of hit the straps running really. We came here and we had Akid Mafid and Gold Fun in our second season, so that really put us on the map.
It was funny, I was watching, doing the research for this show the other day. Akid Mafid, when he won the Derby, didn't really have it all go his own way in the run at all, did he? But he found a way of winning that race that day. You
know, it was a challenge training a colt. You know, there aren't many colts in town, so it's a great testament to his character, really. Yeah. And I'm not surprised he's already getting 2-year-old winners in Australia. He's got plenty of speed. And you know, he's got a decent book of mares next year, so hopefully one day we'll see a few of them in Hong Kong.
And also in that 2013 Derby, Gold Fun, of course, ran. He was a marvellous sprinter miler, almost as good over 1200 as he was over a mile, very consistent.
Yeah, you know, we're mightily unlucky not to get the 1-2 in the Derby that year. You know, we stretched Gold Fun to 2000. He was beating the nose for second place. But yeah, you know, we're very fortunate to have 2 good horses and 2 very sound horses, and they really put me on the map here.
Yeah, and again, I suppose problem for Gold Fun was he just happened to be in the same year as Able Friend, didn't he? Which didn't really help him from time to time.
Yeah, but he was versatile. You know, as a 4-year-old, we were running the Derby, and then we realised the sprint division was a bit weaker. And we prepped him accordingly, and he became such a good sprinter. He was beating a nose in the big race in the Golden Jubilee at Royal Ascot. So he really was a firm favourite.
And another horse that used to run in the same colours as well, Giant Treasure. He had a sort of purple patch, didn't he, where he was second to Morris, and then he won the Stewards Cup as well. He had a very, very good campaign that year.
Yeah, you know, we're very fortunate with that owner, when we just sort of managed to nail 3 very good horses in a row. And yeah, I think Giant Treasure in his first 2 years in Hong Kong was as talented horse as I've had here. And you know, we were up against the mighty Morris and Able Friend, so he was.
Well, he split them, didn't he, in that race?
He did, he did. So he was a very good horse.
Yeah, some effort. And of course, just recently retired as well. He tried a few runs this season, and he's finally.
Yeah, I think I think to be fair, I think the horse found Hong Kong a bit tough for him, and he's moved on to sunny shores in retirement.
Excellent. Okay, well that's a sort of a brief sort of potted history of your career here. Very successful as well. And bringing it all back to the present, you've got 3 runners at Sha Tin on the weekend. Possibly not quite as good as the horses we've just mentioned. How do you think they'll fare?
Yeah, as I say, I think certainly for the back end we've got more Happy Valley types. Yeah. And I won't be putting on my lucky tie on Sunday, put it that way.
You've got Scarborough Fair. Power Max is running as well. Of course, Power Max has made his name at Happy Valley, hasn't he? So,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I've got another horse running called Lucky Master. But that, you know, Scarborough Fair would have been our best chance, but he's drawn 14. So. You know, we'll need some luck on Sunday.
He's an interesting character, Scarborough Fair. I've been with him a couple of times. There's a quick confirmation of the runners that Richard will be having on Sunday afternoon at Sha Tin. So thank you very much for coming along, Richard. It's been nice to sort of step down memory lane with you and have a chat about some of your stable stars as well this season. Good luck for the rest of the campaign.
Thanks very much, John.
OK, there you go. That's Richard Gibson, who's been in excellent form here as part of our HK Direct show today. Here's a quick recap of what you've got to look forward to over the weekend. We've got obviously racing at Sha Tin on Sunday afternoon. Getting underway trackside the normal time at 12:30. 10 races. The first is at 1 o'clock. The big race, I suppose, is the Cup race there, the race number 3, the Racing Club 10th Anniversary Cup as well. That gets underway at 2 o'clock. But in terms of class, I would have thought the best race on the card is the 10th, the likes of Citron Spirit, Easy Go, Easy Win, lining up in the 10th on the card. For the website, www.hkjc.com. You can follow us on Twitter as well at HKJC Racing. So as ever, there's plenty to look forward to. It's been a very enjoyable HK Direct to do today. Sitting in for Edward Sadler. He'll be back next week. But for the moment, thanks for watching.